Buenos dias. ¿Cómo está? And that's all my Spanish, so. Thank you so much for having me and inviting our U.S. Green Building Council team. Thank you to CCCS, amazing conference and hospitality, and of course to Marie Alex for her amazing support of all of our programs and getting us all connected. So as I said, my name's Stephanie Barger. I am the Global Director for True and actually started the program in 2012. For those of you that knew our past president, Rick Frondizi, I met him in 2010, and I told him I'm going to copy lead for zero waste, and he said, go for it. And then in 2016, they acquired my nonprofit, the U.S. Zero Waste Business Council. So we rebranded to True because U.S. Green Building Council loves acronyms. So, but more importantly, True is not just focusing on your waste. And we're not just about zero waste. We want you to focus on all of your resources. So there is no waste in zero waste, and there is no waste in True. So everything is a valuable resources, and not only the materials, but also your financial resources. And that's what we found, that people were not accurately counting, or they didn't know how to accurately count, or it just wasn't top of mind to count all the savings, all the avoided costs, and all the money that could be made by True or zero waste activities. Also, the human resource. True inspires employees, it engages employees, it empowers employees, and they are your most valuable tool to get to zero waste, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And then most importantly, it's about efficiency. If you have a trash can, you are an inefficient business. You are either buying materials and packaging that you don't need, you're handling them 2 or 3 times, and you're paying for them to be hauled away. And then from a bigger picture, your community or your government has the burden of handling those materials and taking care of them. So we are part of the family of GBCI and USGBC. But what's most important is not that we have all these certifications, but we are a one-stop shop for certification. And more importantly, that they engage with one another. So if you enroll in ARC, you get a point under True. If you are manufacturing building materials and it's manufactured in a True facility, then your building, buying those materials, can get a point. So for any of you with building materials, if you want to market your product, you can market it as getting an extra point under LEED. And we'll talk more about that. So True is a leadership certification. It is not meant to be easy. It is meant to transform our broken waste management system. And unfortunately in the US, ours is probably more broken than yours here in Colombia. Everybody's like, oh, the US. It's not the case. I'm always amazed when I travel around the world how advanced the programs are. However, we can all learn from each other and share each other. So part of this is, like, if there is no food scrap composting in your community, then you as a business have a lot of power in working with the government to create composting sites or create new legislation. And then we need you to educate your industry and to bring it forward, and then to do community events. This was from my prior nonprofit, but that is 1,000 third and fourth graders. They were educated on zero waste and plastic pollution and watersheds, and then we all went to the beach and created this aerial art. And I think that's important. Have fun with zero waste. Be creative. Think out of the box. Have fun. And then I think waste is not really considered when we're thinking about our scope 1, 2, or 3. Yet, as you can see, the methane from landfills, most people have calculated at 21. A recalculation is 72 times more potent. And the main thing you can do to help decrease that methane is to get all of your compost out of your landfills. In the state of California, we just instituted a new law, SB 1383, and I provide that because if you want to Google it. But we now ban all organics from our landfills. We're still working on it, but what we did is we started with the big producers, the grocery stores, the big hotels, the convention centers, and really making sure that all of their food scraps and their green waste is out of the landfill. And then we went to the medium size and then the smaller. And now we're working on the residential. Also, most people forget that by recycling, you save 75% of the water and energy versus using virgin materials. So recycling that piece of paper is saving 75% of the energy and water, which once again goes to your scope 1, 2, or 3, or goes to meeting different sustainability requirements. And definitely understand if your community or your state or your country has zero waste plans and get engaged with them, or help your community create zero waste plans. This is all about creating jobs, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. So this is the zero waste hierarchy. Most people are focusing on getting it out of the landfill or waste to energy on recycling and composting. Our goal is to focus on the top 2. And actually, I have about 20 R's, so if you need an R, I have one. But my favorite is repair, and I think we've forgotten about that. So repairing shoes, repairing clothes, repairing machinery. That is the best way to save resources and save money. And then, of course, redesigning, not only redesigning our products, but redesigning our zero waste systems. And I encourage all of you to eliminate your waste management system and change it into a commodity system or a commodity plan, a material plan, a resource plan. And True doesn't really work with the waste management because we're working more upstream. And part of that is because we focus on what you are purchasing. Because if everything you are purchasing is recyclable, repairable, reusable, compostable, you're zero waste. And I would rather dig through purchasing agreements than dig through dumpsters. Also, it's about including everybody. It's great to have a green team, but unless you train all of your employees, you're not going to be successful. It's just like you have zero accident policies, right? Safety policies. It's just not a small team that train. Every employee is responsible for zero accidents, or zero customer complaints, or zero product defects. So that is where we want to go. And most importantly, saving and making money. When I talk to clients, that's all I talk about. How much money you are going to make. And it's not thousands of dollars, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, or millions or billions. And unlike a return on investment for solar, which might take you, many years to get, which is important, when you start your zero waste program, you can start saving money in 30 days, 60 days, or 6 months with little investment. So this is just an example of Raytheon. They have very large office campuses that have very large cafeterias. And so they partnered with their food service provider. Eurus is actually part of Compass Group, so many of you might know that. And we work with all the big service providers, Compass, Sodexo, Aramark, JLL, CBRE, Able, all of those. But they had a really great campaign called Serving Up Sustainability. And once again, you need to make it fun. You need to engage people. So definitely involve your marketing team and your human resource. But they were able to change everything in their cafeteria to reusable, recyclable, or compostable, except for the chip bags. They also implemented this reusable program, and a lot of people think, oh, our employees are taking it from the cafeteria, and they're taking it back to their offices or to a new building. Well, you have bins for recycling. Just have a bin for putting these in, and have your janitorial service, which will hopefully be your zero waste champions, implement that. So I'm going to go a little bit into our true certification. The main thing is it focuses on your solid waste. We had to start somewhere, so in version 2 and version 3, we will be getting into medical waste, hazardous waste, liquid waste, because all of those can focus on redesign, reduce, reuse. Our goal is less than 10% of your leftover materials would go to landfill incineration, which includes waste to energy, waste to fuel, and chemical recycling. Our goal is to close the loop. So if you're sending it to waste to energy, you're destroying those materials, and we have to go extract and cause more environmental damage. Also, if you're landfilling or burning, you are not being responsible for your products. So if what's end up going in there is either the toxic materials and products, or we're just allowing people for bad design. So we have a lot of producer responsibility. So if you're producing a product, you need to make sure you can take it back, or not that it's just recyclable, but that there's a market for it and it's easy for the consumer to recycle it. So this is an overview of our scorecard. As you can see, the most points are in purchasing, as we talked about before. And then it's in training and leadership, reduction and reuse. And about the money, we do a deep dive into zero waste reporting and analysis, upstream management. So I will say, just like with LEAD, we have all these points. Some of them will not apply for you, like you might not be able to donate food to feed people or animals. That's okay, because even with platinum, you can miss 17 points. So we have those ranges just like you do with LEAD. So I always say focus on what you can achieve versus what's not applicable. We have many resources on our website, so please go to our resource page. We have YouTube videos. We're in the USGBC educational platform. We have planning tools, gaps analysis, and you can contact me. Also, we have done a crosswalk with LEAD. This is a little bit old, but we will continue to do that. So once again, like I talked about at the beginning, if you're getting LEAD certified, those points can also count towards true. Also, if you're pursuing LEAD Zero, in order to get LEAD Zero Waste, you just need to get true platinum. And then you submit your certificate to get LEAD Zero Waste. So these are just a few of our facilities. We don't have Colgate up here because they're going to be presenting. But what's most important is we can use the same rating system for every business, for amusement parks, for multi-use building, multi-residential, for big, huge campuses, for little, tiny facilities. Any type of business can get True certified. We also have our True Advisor. It's a professional accreditation like the LEAD GA and the LEAD AP. The difference with the True Advisor is we do have a course. It's an online on-demand course that goes out through every single point. So the True Advisor, of course, is for consultants. And for you LEAD consultants, True is a great new service to offer. It's for the people that work at the company. Colgate has put many of their employees through it. I have another company, but that puts 60 of their employees through the True Advisor. They didn't really care if they passed the exam, but it was an inexpensive way for them to educate multiple employees. So, you know, and then our service providers have found it very valuable. And this needs to be updated. We now have over 2,500 true advisors globally, and we might have a few true advisors in the room. So we want to rethink the life cycle of all of our materials. So a typical waste management system is you do a waste audit, and you maybe do it once a year. You need to do a waste audit for right sizing, service levels, illegal dumping, all of that, but that's in the past. You've already wasted the money, you've wasted the resources. Versus a zero waste audit is much more comprehensive. You want to understand the position and the materials that are used by each department. You want to know if your employees understand zero waste. What is their environmental literacy? You want to observe them to see if they're implementing your policies. You want to educate them. You want to survey them. I know one company was putting all their zero waste training on SharePoint, and then they realized none of their employees looked at SharePoint. So, you need to find a way, and you need to talk to your employees about what they do. And then you need to customize it for each department. So your office spaces are going to have different systems versus your cafeterias. Your cafeterias will probably have larger composting bins. They'll have areas for reuse. They will have, reusable dishes. Your distribution areas or your warehousing, you want to make sure you have room for lots of balers and compactors. And also you need to get rid of your trash compactor and your large trash bins. Because if you're going zero waste, your trash bins should be really little or not at all. And a trash compactor is, once again, it's that black hole that people just put things in. One of our clients, Whole Foods Market, in order to put anything in the trash compactor, you had to go find a manager, and he had to approve you to put that trash bag in the trash compactor. And I will say that the beauty of True is we get really serious, and we enforce, zero waste and really make sure it works. So like I said before, we focus on the upstream. We, of course, want you to recycle, but more importantly, we want you to source, separate, and then we want you to look at all of those materials and see what you can reduce and reuse. So this is very simple. This is a school in Costa Rica, and I show this because if young students can do this, then we can all do this. So this is a very simple program. They collected all these extra school supplies and books, things from their homes, and then they inventoried all of them. And then they worked with the city, and they redonated them to other underprivileged schools and families that needed it. But from a bigger perspective, Toyota was doing a great job recycling their cardboard boxes, but they said we need to go to the next level. So they started developing a reusable program. So they have reusable containers between their manufacturing, distribution, and dealerships. This slide was actually done in 2016. They saved $1 billion. And that's what I'm talking about. It's big money. And we have many, many case studies where even small businesses have saved $100,000. So if you're trying to sell True, just make sure you talk about the money. And I'm more than happy to make that case, get on a phone call with you and your team or your clients and really help build it here in Columbia. So it does take an economy. It does take a partnership of everybody. So we not only work with nonprofits and, of course, the recycling associations and the composting associations, but we work with industry associations. So we work with the Airport Council, the Retail Industry Council, the Dairy Council. Many of them are looking for resources to build their sustainability programs and their sustainability toolkits. So I encourage you to find your partners and everything. So this is about a closed-loop supply chain. So first of all, we need to change the rules because our rules are for wasting, right? And so we need to change them for reduction and reuse. And sometimes those are our own rules and not government rules. And then we need to shift subsidies. It should be very expensive to landfill or incinerate. And it should be very inexpensive, so you take that extra money from incineration and landfilling and invest it in reusable and recycling and composting. And then, we need take-back programs. Resource recovery parks is where, like, you will bring old mattresses, and then they'll be remanufactured into new mattresses. Or you bring paper, and it'll be remanufactured into new paper. And then, really leveraging the consumer buying power, and consumers are doing this. They're switching where they're purchasing to sustainable products. And then it's all about jobs. In fact, in our workshop yesterday, or on Wednesday, we had a breakout session, and they actually came up with a whole new company to support their company in zero waste. So that is the magic. And the more that you stop landfilling and incinerating and get to reusing, repairing, recreating, remanufacturing, the more jobs that you're going to have. And now our True for facilities. So we have farms that are certified. We have wineries. We have multi-use. This is Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. They sort into 12 different categories. So 12 different commodities. And sometimes they're selling directly to the reprocessor, to recyclers. So, make sure your program is very nimble and flexible. They actually have 3 different types of composting. But more importantly, they save $500,000 a year. And this is only a facility that has 200 employees. So once again, there's tons of money. And then just to point out, we do big, huge facilities. This one is almost 6 million square feet in India. It's multi-tenant. So I always hear from the tenants, oh, my property owner, my property manager doesn't want to do it. And then I hear from the owner, the tenants don't want to do it. Well, we have proof that you can work together and both do it. And then even small facilities. So you consultants, if you want to do true certification, get your own offices true certified and really make a statement that you can do that. These 3 consultants, they only have like a floor or 2 floors in a high rise. And so that's a great way to show your property owner, property manager, look we did it on floor 11 and 12. You can do it for your whole building. And then True for events. The reason we set up True for events, number one, our first year with USGBC, Greenbuild said, well, we want to do True. And I'm like, well, we don't have True for events, but I've done zero waste events for the last 15 years. So it's a great way to give your either employees or your attendees a taste of zero waste. And so, for your offices and for your companies, you of course don't have to get certified, but you can use the same rating system and ideas that we use for large events to have a zero waste picnic, a zero waste office meeting, a zero waste conference. And so with Greenbuild, they've gotten certified. I think they've reached 93% diversion for the last 5 years, and they've received platinum. And so the goal is, as we move around the country, that they're educating all of these big convention centers that this can be done. And then we've been able to take it to a whole nother level. So State Farm Arena, before they got True certified, they had a True for Events basketball game with the Atlanta Hawks, and then they did a True for Events concert with Billie Eilish. And we're going to go visit Movie Star Arena, and I heard Coldplay was there, and they actually chose Movie Star Arena because they were LEED certified. So there is a lot of push from artists to get programs True certified. And I know I'm going a little over time, but we're going to be okay. So True for construction. We just started this over a year ago, and this really came about because U.S. Green Building Council has all of these contractors, all of these architects. And in the Bay Area, they were very frustrated because they put things in the construction and demolition recycling bin, and then it was really just getting crushed and sent to landfill or maybe a little bit recycled. And so we wanted to support that. So True for Construction is about the operations of your construction site. And so we want to make sure that you're source separating, you're training all of your employees, and training all of the trades. It's actually easier on construction sites because things are phased, right? You're working with your foundation trades, you're working with your framing trades, your electrical trades. So it's phased, so you can really customize your bins and how you're going to do that. So I encourage you to go to our website and really review. We have a webinar. So this was Lend-Lease. This was actually before our True for Construction, but Lend-Lease in 2018 said, we want to do True for a construction site. But I love this because they trained everybody, they had the right bins, and this is an electrical company saying, oh, it was easy, it was simple, it didn't cost us any money. And once again, just like with True for Facilities, you're saving tons of money. You're saving resources. And in the US, we have a collaborative for closing the loop on gypsum board, wallboard, drywall. And I know they'd love to collaborate with you down here. So this is our first project. It's pre-certified. For pre-certification, you only need 9 credits, and you need to be tracking for 2 months, and you can only be at 10% diversion. It's just to get your project started, and it's a really great first win, especially because some of our construction projects are 5 or 10 years. We are currently working with the San Diego Airport, UC Berkeley, and Contra Costa County. They all have True for Construction projects, and we have many more that are online. And then I just want to bring this up because it is front of mind for all of us, and not that True's going to do a certification, but it's something that we need to look at when we're looking at our zero waste infrastructure. So that's my little puppy over there. She's a crisis response dog, and we go to disasters and give love. But for disaster relief, we need to have infrastructure when these extreme events happen. Do we have areas for large composting with all the green waste, all the tree limbs? EPA worked with, after the hurricane in Houston, all those building materials that were destroyed and washed away, well, not washed away, but they were able to work with the local government and get it re-permitted so they could reuse those building materials. We need to eliminate toxins because when there's hurricanes and fires and tornadoes, all of that is going into the air and into the ocean. And then we need to plan for resilience for natural and economic disasters. And I think that's the beauty of True. It makes you very, very resilient and lean and mean so you can ride through the hard times and economic concerns. So I'll just end with, if you're not for zero waste, how much waste are you for? Here is my contact information. We're going to take questions at the end, and it is my great pleasure to introduce Marie Jimenez and Lady from Colgate. Colgate, they have launched across the world for us, and they're going to tell you more about their incredible story and their leadership.
Qué raro que no. Creo que no ha cargado la de... Ah, listo. Vale. Todavía no ha cargado. Ya. Buenos días a todos. Queremos darle la bienvenida a Colgate Palmolive, una empresa que se ha comprometido con el medio ambiente, y vamos a hablar un poquito del caso True. y que es una de nuestras razones para sonreír. Un poco de contexto, ¿quiénes somos? Somos una compañía que lleva más de 217 años en el mundo, en más de 200 países, orgullosamente 80 años aquí en Colombia y 70 años en el Valle del Cauca, específicamente en Cali. Cuando empezamos a hablar un poquito del contexto actual, se nos vienen muchas palabras a la mente: contaminación, medio ambiente, crisis, guerra. Pero una de estas partes fundamentales es los residuos sólidos, que realmente es un problema que nos une a todas las industrias, a todos los sectores, y es un problema global y local. Si nos metemos un poco en las estadísticas y en los datos, y hablando un poquito de responsabilidad empresarial, el 69% de los residuos los ponemos las industrias, ¿sí? Esto es un porcentaje bastante importante. Y si analizamos un poco más, a nivel mundial solamente estamos aprovechando el 13.5% de esos residuos, que realmente es muy poco. Aquí tenemos una capacidad grandísima de reutilizar y reaprovechar. Si nos vamos ya a América Latina, donde estamos hablando solamente del 5% de cosas que estamos reutilizando, reciclando, recuperando. Es muchísimo. Más del 95% se nos están yendo a basureros y a rellenos sanitarios.
Dentro de nuestra estrategia de sostenibilidad, nosotros consideramos 3 iniciativas que son muy importantes. La primera de ellas es generar impacto social, la segunda, ayudar a millones de hogares, y la tercera, preservar nuestro entorno. Como ustedes pueden ver en las letras en rojo, tenemos el acróstico de SMILE, porque en Colgate nosotros cuidamos a la gente y nosotros sonreímos. Tenemos muchas razones para sonreír. Bueno, en el contexto de la estrategia que Colgate ha planteado, nosotros estamos muy seguros de que esto va a generar cambios positivos, que va a contribuir a la preservación del medio ambiente para las generaciones futuras. Es por eso que la compañía ha definido ser un líder a nivel mundial para las instalaciones cero residuos, y por eso dentro de los objetivos ha planteado para todas las operaciones tener la certificación 100% Zero Waste. ¿Cómo estamos en el mundo? Ya Colgate cuenta con más de 30 operaciones certificadas, y esta ha sido una jornada llena de aprendizajes, de logros y de realmente poder vencer barreras. ¿Cómo vamos nosotros en la región andina? Nosotros en este momento tenemos un cumplimiento en certificaciones del 80%. La primera planta en ser certificada en Latinoamérica para nuestra región fue la planta de Colombia. La bodega de Ecuador fue la primera a nivel mundial para Colgate en ser certificada. Orgullosamente, en diciembre del año pasado, certificamos nuestro centro de distribución localizado en la ciudad de Palmira. La planta de Venezuela logró también la certificación en el año 2022, y para poder alcanzar el 100% de las certificaciones planteadas para la región andina, la planta de Venezuela espera en este año, la bodega, perdón, espera poder tener esta certificación.
Bueno, pero creo que la pregunta que nos hacemos como industrias es cómo lograrlo. Y yo creo que muy apoyado en lo que Stephanie nos decía, esto no es salir a hacer una auditoría a nuestras basuras, esto no es el compromiso del área de seguridad y de medio ambiente o de la persona designada para este proyecto. Esto tiene que tener una alineación donde existe una misión, visión y políticas claras, donde existe un equipo. Este equipo debe ser multidisciplinario. Aquí somos las voceras muy orgullosas, pero atrás de nosotras está compras, está manufactura, está logística, bueno, toda la cadena de suministros enfocada a este mismo objetivo. Una asesoría, por eso es tan importante tener estos True Advisors, entender tus procesos internos para poder desde la fuente eliminar, tener una alineación corporativa y sobre todo muchísima disciplina en la ejecución, porque esto no es algo que tú haces una vez en el año, sino cómo lo mantienes en el tiempo. Y aquí quiero traer un par de ejemplos. Estas son fotos reales de nuestra planta en Cali. De esta foto quiero destacar, no sé si alcanzan a ver, perdón, aquí atrás, la imagen de la crema dental. Nosotros pensamos que la crema dental pues normalmente va a incineración o a relleno, pero no. La crema dental tiene muchos componentes orgánicos y nos sirve para hacer compost. ¿Sí? Entonces es un dato bastante curioso que nosotros normalmente no asociamos. Solo pensamos que las industrias reciclamos lo que es plástico, lo que es papel y lo que es cartón. Otros ejemplos bastante interesantes es que nosotros teníamos tubos de crema dental que son hechos de diferentes materiales. Por ejemplo, el tubo dental tiene una capa de aluminio, tiene una capa de plástico. Las envolturas de jabón, una capa de papel, una capa de plástico. Entonces, normalmente con las cadenas productivas que tenemos en Colombia, estos materiales no son de fácil recuperación. ¿Qué hicimos? Los procesamos y los vendemos como molido a empresas que hacen estivas y maderas plásticas. Entonces se usan para parques, juegos infantiles, rejas, estivas y demás, como las fotos que vemos abajo. También conectando con lo que decía Stephanie, y que es tan importante retarse y pensar fuera de la caja y pensar diferente, es que ahorita Colgate ha llevado esto a otro nivel. Entonces no nos quedamos en el tubito colapsible o el laminado de este tipo de materiales, sino que ahora nuestras envolturas de jabón y nuestros tubos de crema dental son 100% reciclables. Los de jabones están hechos totalmente de plástico y ahorita la planta de Cali orgullosa es la primera planta en hacer la transición del 100% de su portafolio a tubo totalmente reciclable. Entonces ustedes como consumidores de crema dental Colgate, ¿qué pueden hacer? Ya echarlo en la basura blanca, como cuando echan el corrugado, el papel, las botellas, y esto vuelve a entrar al proceso productivo con mucho más valor. Esta es una partecita pequeña del gran equipo que tiene la planta de Cali. Estas son las personas que lo hacen posible día a día, ¿sí? Pero pues no nos caben todas las personas en la foto. Logro resaltar, en este momento en la planta de Cali tenemos un 98.8% de residuos desviados. Entonces imagínense la cantidad de material que estamos aprovechando.
En cuanto al proceso de certificación del centro de distribución sede Palmira, dos premisas fueron importantes para poder contribuir con la disminución de residuos. La primera de ellas era definitivamente la intención y el compromiso del equipo para poder aportar al medio ambiente. Y la segunda es poder estar en línea también con las políticas definidas a nivel mundial por la compañía para poder disminuir los residuos. Todo esto de la mano con liderazgo y trabajo en equipo. Realmente son fundamentales para poder vencer barreras, para poder incorporar nuevas iniciativas, cambiar procesos. Muchas veces cambiar este mindset es difícil, pero realmente el cambio es posible. Venciendo barreras realmente se logran resultados maravillosos. Algunas de las prácticas que queremos compartir con ustedes. Nosotros como compañía llevamos a cabo diversas jornadas de reforestación. En el marco de Colgate Cares Day, que es una iniciativa de cuidado de la gente, y también en alianza con proveedores estratégicos para el negocio. Importante también dentro de toda esta disciplina poder tener un plan muy estructurado de ejecución para poder cumplir con las políticas de cero residuos y acompañado de esto un plan muy robusto de seguimiento con la implementación de indicadores y auditorías que involucren no solamente al equipo administrativo sino al operativo para lograr mantener los resultados. Aquí también un pequeño ejemplo de las prácticas sustentables que en medio de este proyecto también incorporamos. No es común ver una huerta orgánica en un centro de distribución, pero sí es posible. ¿Y cómo nació esta bonita idea? Básicamente con el objetivo de poder aprovechar los residuos de comida, los residuos de las podas del jardín, que los utilizamos para la generación de compost y a su vez ese compost dio lugar a la idea de la huerta. Y realmente esta idea de la huerta ha generado un impacto positivo en el clima laboral, aunque no lo puedan creer, porque se ha convertido también en un espacio de esparcimiento para aquellas personas que realmente disfrutan de este tipo de actividades. A su vez también contribuyen con la alimentación del personal y algo que es muy importante, a cerrar el círculo de aprovechamiento de residuos. Otro factor importante y que no se puede dejar atrás es la incorporación de la innovación en todo este proceso. Básicamente es muy importante para poder ayudar a soportar el cambio. Entre muchas acciones, la compañía planteó una estrategia y un proyecto para disminuir el uso de papel. En este sentido, logramos disminuir el 50% del papel que utilizábamos en las oficinas y también en la operación. No solamente migrando a imprimir papel a doble cara, sino también implementando o digitalizando todos los formatos que nosotros teníamos y también eliminando aquellos que ya pues, no eran necesarios en la operación. Este proceso de simplificación no solamente ayudó a reducir papel, sino también a encontrar eficiencias en la operación. Entonces, la verdad es que eficiencia, sustentabilidad y también generación de ahorros son posibles. Un proyecto también importante que queremos compartir y que contribuyó a la disminución de plástico fue la incorporación de tecnología. La compañía decidió invertir en un robot que permitiera dar una aplicación uniforme de la cinta stretch que se utiliza para los despachos paletizados a los clientes. Este robot permitió disminuir el consumo de esta cinta stretch. Adicionalmente, en el proceso de la maquila o del copacker, se reemplazó 100% esta cinta stretch mediante la incorporación de cintas velcro 100% reutilizables. Y adicionalmente, también incorporamos esquineros plásticos, lo que a su vez contribuyó para la reducción de cartón en la compañía, de residuos de cartón. Otros factores también a considerar: la colaboración de los proveedores es vital, es clave, porque ellos también tienen que incluir dentro de sus políticas objetivos de sostenibilidad. En nuestro caso, los proveedores se comprometieron a incorporar en su proceso materiales 100% reciclables, e incluso tenemos proveedores que tienen certificación de manejo forestal sostenible. Esto es un impacto muy positivo hoy en día para el medio ambiente. Aparte de eso, también estamos utilizando papel fabricado a partir del bagazo de la caña. Y finalmente, un ejemplo que también es muy bueno y muy práctico de compartir es nuestro socio en el restaurante cambió el icopor y otros elementos no amigables al medio ambiente y en su lugar incorporó bandejas reutilizables y en su momento también, cuando se requiere, plásticos con los cuales se pueda hacer compostaje. Aquí el mensaje es muy importante porque el equipo comprometido logra y excede los resultados. Detrás de toda esta jornada, que realmente esto es un resumen, pero la jornada fue larga y fue una jornada muy bonita, el poder contar no solamente con el apoyo del equipo administrativo de logística, el equipo operativo también de logística, el equipo de seguridad y medio ambiente, sino también del equipo de compras, proveedores y en general otros socios interesados también en el proceso, realmente marcó la diferencia y esto es lo que muestra los resultados que obtuvimos con esta certificación.
Bueno, ya para cerrar un poco, porque normalmente pensamos que este tipo de programas son costosos para una compañía, pero realmente no, y un poco de datos que queremos compartirles. Hemos reducido durante este viaje aproximadamente 2.000 toneladas. Para que nos demos una idea, son aproximadamente 333 elefantes africanos. Eso es un viajado de residuos. 20% en reducción de lo que nosotros pagábamos para que vinieran a llevarse los residuos, pues ya no lo estamos pagando y además estamos ganando. Hemos ganado más de $280.000 por esta, ya no lo llamamos recolección de basura, sino gestión de residuos y sobre todo en la empresa hay un cambio de mentalidad. ¿Sí? Ya es cómo recuperamos, cómo reusamos, cómo reparamos, esto me puede servir para esto me puede servir para lo otro. Y aquí no para nuestra estrategia de sostenibilidad y responsabilidad. Si nosotros tenemos un viaje 2025, 2030 con unas estrategias bastante retadoras, conservación del agua, aquí nuestra misión es que para el 2030 tengamos un balance neto cero de agua. ¿Qué quiere decir esto? Que toda el agua que tratamos en nuestra planta de tratamiento la podamos reincorporar en nuestros procesos. Energía, trabajamos en dos enfoques muy claros. Reducción del consumo de energía para ser mucho más eficientes y además hacer una transición energética. ¿Qué quiere decir? Es ver cómo nuestros recursos de energía pueden venir de fuentes renovables. Continuar con esta certificación True, de hacer un mantenimiento anual porque ya vemos todo el valor que nos genera. Y finalmente, seguir retando el desarrollo de nuestros empaques. Y esto no es una iniciativa de aquí nosotros, Colgate Colombia, sino es una alineación global, que nuestros empaques sean 100% reciclables, que cada vez tengan más contenido de material reciclado, que sean más amigables con el medio ambiente, que las fórmulas sean biodegradables. Creemos que juntos podemos hacer la diferencia y continuar dándole al mundo motivos para sonreír.
So 2 minutes, I do want to just give a shout out because we're hoping that Rochester School, who is right here, I visited for the second time. I visited them in October. We've been working on their Zero Waste True program. So we hope that they, Rochester School, and then we also visited El Dorado Airport on Tuesday. Amazing work they're doing, that they will be joining Colgate and being true certified facilities here in Colombia. What I will say about the whole Colgate family is they are so helpful and so willing to share their wisdom, their expertise, and their challenges. So with that, if you have questions, especially for Maria and Lady, here's the opportunity. I think they're leaving around 1 today, so you might be able to grab them. So any questions for either of them or myself? Okay, well, another big round of applause for all of the work that they're doing. Do you have anything you want to say more? No? Okay. Thank you. Thank you to CCCS and GBCI Colombia, and have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember to eliminate the word waste from your vocabulary.